All right, everybody, welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. I am super excited to have you guys here listening today as I bring on one of my students who has actually done this, not just once, not just twice, but she's going on to her third one. And so she is doing a fantastic job building her business. I have my student Katrina on the show with me. Katrina, thank you so much for being here on the Master Passive Income Show.
Thank you for asking me to, inviting me to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, as we've been working together, finding properties and working through how to make sure we find the right properties and buy the right properties, it was just so much fun seeing you go through the entire process and also having you get the nerves to get it, because it's nerve-wracking, it's scary. So tell us a little, aside from the deal, let's jump really quickly. Who are you, or where are you living, and what do you do normally, and what are your goals for real estate investing?
I live in Virginia. I work in DC for the National Park Service, and I have 25 years in there. And I just want to build this so that way I can also have extra retirement income. Hoping to do this, as much as I can in 10 years is my goal.
That's terrific. And in short order, I mean, we've only been working with each other for maybe 6 months. You already have two properties. And I remember you getting that first property and how nerve-wracking it was. So before we get to that deal, I want to ask you about what made you want to take the leap into investing in real estate and rental properties.
I feel like rental properties is like the best thing because you could be on vacation and still get paid. You don't have to put so much time to it. And like you said, there are like so many ways you can make money with rental properties, not just with the cash flow, but with appreciation, depreciation, all that sort of stuff, tax write-offs, everything.
Absolutely. And it's also going to work for you when you are too old to work, and then you can eventually pass it down to your kids. There's just so many fantastic things about real estate rental properties. So let's look at what were you trying to do when you found your first property, or when you started looking to invest before you found me? Did you start looking for properties on your own, or what was the process to actually get you started investing?
So I actually started investing by default. I used to own a rental house, but here in the DC area, and I acquired it through my previous marriage, but then I got divorced, so I had to rent it out. It was horrible. I lost so much money. I didn't follow the 1% rule. The DC, Maryland, Virginia area is just so expensive. So that's why I started looking at properties outside of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
And do you still have that property, that first property?
No, actually, I had to go through a foreclosure, a bankruptcy. So I really started from the bottom and I'm working my way up. Yeah.
So there's definitely many wrong ways to do this business, and there's only a few right ways to do it. So now I'm really glad that you got out of that last property and you went on to, let's talk about now getting your first property. Now, there's a lot of learning involved, right? I mean, you can't just go out and buy a property and just hope that you're going to make money. Talk to us a little about the learning and the things that you needed to do in order to make sure you buy the right property and build the business first.
I was, so what I did was I looked at properties that didn't have as much fixing up to do and that already had tenants in there. And the properties that I found also had the inspection reports there already. And also I have the property managers to consult with about the status of the property.
And you already knew beforehand that you would be making money every single month because you knew your expenses, right? And you knew how much income you should be able to get from that property. Is that correct?
The best that I could, yes.
Awesome. Great. Now, you went through the Ultimate Real Estate Investing System, the course that I put together. I've literally spent hundreds of hours, and plus I'm always updating it to try to help all my students to actually be successful. You found one way. Now, you use a company that I actually suggested. Which company was that?
Roofstock.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience at Roofstock, because I the first time I found Roofstock, I said, you know what, this could be a very good opportunity for us as investors that we have a lot of the work already done on their end. Now we have to verify, we have to do our due diligence, we have to make sure it's going to be actual, they're not lying to us. But talk to us a little bit about your experience with Roofstock.
I thought it was great because Roofstock, you can search for properties by location, by price. You can even hit the 1% button, so it follows that 1% rule. You could hit turnkey properties, and Roofstock also has the properties already inspected. So the inspection report's in there, and it tells you how much work needs to be done, like a roof or whatever.
Yeah, and I love how, as we're doing our due diligence, we have that as a basis to go off of. Now, I'm going to tell everybody, if you're going to use roofstock.com, you have to do your own inspection, or at least my opinion. Do your own inspection. Don't trust what anybody else is giving you. You want to verify all around. And so if you want to use Roofstock, go through my affiliate link. It's masterpassiveincome.com/roofstock. It'll let you know that you're one of my students, and they are going to take care of you just like they would take care of me. I've already talked with them, worked with them, and so they are going to help you to find and buy the right properties. Now, Katrina, talk to us about finding an area of the country to invest in, because you're living in Virginia. You know, is it the DMV? Is that what it's called?
Yes, DC, Maryland, Virginia.
There you go. I actually went through there. We should have tried to connect as I was driving from Florida all the way up to New York City on my 4-week trip. Well, but that's neither here nor there. But you're living in Virginia, which is really, really expensive. Where are you investing, and what was it like finding that new area of the country to invest in?
So the first property I found was in Ohio, Akron, Ohio, and I closed in October. And then I found another one in Tennessee, and I closed in December.
You're a fast mover. So I love it. It's fantastic, because as I'm working with students, the ones that move fast, it really helps you as the student to learn faster, because the longer it takes, you kind of a lot of my students, they say you start to forget the things that we've already talked about, and they don't implement it. And so you've already moved on to your second one really, really quickly. So when you went to Ohio, was it scary buying that first property? Living in Virginia, not ever being to Ohio or Akron, not seeing the property, was it scary to do that?
Yes, it was very scary. Actually, my first time researching for properties, I talked to wholesalers, before I even found Roofstock. I was talking to so many different people, but I ended up buying from Roofstock. But yes, it was so scary. I had to interview like different property managers, call around. Yeah, it was just a lot of work.
So now the work aside, what about the nerves though? What about, because most people think I have to buy in my backyard where I can literally drive to it. Talk to us about the nerves of getting the ability, or getting the strength, the courage to buy a property in another state.
Yes, that was very scary. And, signing up for your coaching session and emailing you along the way helped me so much. Yeah, it was very scary, but I just said, you only live once.
I completely agree with that. I specifically remember there was a time my wife and I, Pennsylvania, we were literally in Pennsylvania, and I was getting a couple emails with you, and I could tell like the nerves were, because this is the first property. And as I'm driving through my 4-week trip with the kids and the wife all through the East Coast, we were in Pennsylvania. We were literally in Amish country. We were like at an Amish little town there. And I could tell from your emails, like you're asking me questions. Well, this, and this, like, okay, we just need to have a coaching call because I need to spend time with you. And so I let the kids go run around the Amish, milking the cows and all that sort of stuff. They had a ton of fun while I was on the phone with you, but I got to walk you through the process and say, okay, now this is the next step and this is the next step. And okay, you're worried about this, but this is, so I basically got to walk you through the process, which was a lot of fun for me.
I know.
Yeah, it was great.
It's incredible how fast you respond to my emails too. I know you're busy doing a million things, and it's crazy how it feels like you're right there. So I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's something that if I get an email, and I'm always checking my email because I have plenty of students and I want to make sure that they're successful. So I appreciate you saying that. Now, this first property, talk to us about the the step-by-step process of, okay, we already know we found it through Roofstock, which is a great company to use, but then what due diligence did you do to make sure that it's a right property that you're going to be making money and you have a property manager? Tell us about that whole process.
Well, I used the tools from your link or whatever
From
to
the course, yeah.
put in the numbers.
Okay.
And that way I could see how much cash flow, putting the rental income that Roofstock said and the reserve fee and the utilities, that sort of thing. And then I created my own spreadsheet because I was looking at like 10 other properties to see which one I would want. So, but it didn't take that long. I mean,
yeah, the system that I've put together myself is I was realizing I was spending a lot of time analyzing deals, and I had to create a faster and faster way. And so that's what I implemented inside the course was, hey, this is how this is how I save time. This is how I got more efficient analyzing deals. And if you do X, Y, and Z, then you do. And so that's really great. Now, you bought that property and you closed in October. Is that correct?
Yes.
So from there, you've already received some rent checks. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, I had November and December rent.
So how does that feel, getting a check and not doing any work?
It's amazing. I even went on a cruise, and when I got back from the cruise, I had a check in my bank. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now you're getting an idea of what I've done. I go travel the world because I can. I don't have to do anything. So here's what was really awesome for me as a coach. I walked you through that first process, or we worked together. We got that first property. And then it was probably like a month later, I get an email from you. Hey, Dustin, I'm already buying my second property. I'm like, what? We didn't even talk about it. Let's get on a call. Let's show me the deal. Let me make sure we're doing everything right. But talk to us about that next property.
The next property went faster than the first one because the first one, I was so nervous. Just trying to find the first one, like I said, calling real estate agents in Ohio, talking to wholesalers. It was a lot of work. Going through Zillow, that sort of thing. So when I found Roofstock, it made it faster. And then finding the second property, I found it again and using Roofstock. So it went a lot faster because I already knew what was going on. And it was crazy because I used a mobile notary. I've never done that. So we just met at the Panera and I did my closing right there at the Panera. Everything was so simple.
That is terrific. I've used a mobile notary so many times and there are loads and loads of them. And so that's something that, it's really quick and easy. As long as you have a mortgage company that's going to be working with you, they literally say, okay, we'll send the docs to you and you just pick a time to meet. So let's talk about the financing and getting the funding, because that's a big question for many, many people. How do I get money to buy these properties? So talk to us about that first deal. How much did you buy it for, and how much is it renting for, and how did you get the financing to do it?
I did a bold move. I took money out of my TSP. Well,
what's a TSP? Not everybody knows what a TSP is.
Thrift Savings Plan. It's the government retirement program that they have. And so I did a bold move and took money out of my TSP. I had to anyway because I owed so much taxes, so I had to pay taxes. And I was thinking, let me just take out more than paying back the taxes and do this bold move and invest in property. So I took a lot out.
And that's something I talk about in my course and actually on my podcast and everywhere, is I literally cashed everything out because I make so much more money, and it's easy money through real estate. Because
I owed taxes, so much taxes for they sent me an audit for 2018 and 2016, so I had to pay that back. So I was tired of having making too much money and not having enough deductions. So that's why I also needed to do this bold move and invest in real estate. So the first property I bought in Ohio was $65,000, and I put how much did I put down? I put like 16,000 down. No. I put 19,000 down. And
you got a mortgage. You got a mortgage with it?
Yes.
Okay.
It rents for $860.
That sounds fantastic to me.
Yes.
So with this first property, how much is the mortgage payment on this property?
So principal and interest is like
Oh my
$250.
goodness.
I
That's
know.
great. And
I
you're
know.
renting it for 850, I think you said?
Yeah, 850, 860.
Oh my goodness, you're making money hand over fist. Now, obviously, we have other fees like property manager fees and stuff like that, but I bet
And
you're probably clearing
escrow.
at least 300, maybe $350 on that property.
Yes,
That's
yes,
awesome. Well,
I
good for you.
know.
I'm applauding you. I'm so excited for you. Now, let's look at the second property. And getting that second property, I'm so glad that you said it was faster on the second one. And I completely agree that as soon as you buy that first one, the next one comes so much easier because it's just like riding a bike. Once you get it, you're like, oh man, I got it and I can do it. And
Right.
you're also investing in two different states, which is interesting because most people can't even invest in one other state. So they're like, I'm Ohio and Tennessee because they're good properties. So what was the purchase price of the second property?
The second property was 54,000. I put like 16,000 down. And
And
and it rents for 750.
oh man. And people are saying, man, how do I find properties that cheap? I'm like, there are plenty of places in the country that you can find properties that cheap. So you put 16,000 down, you said?
Yes, 16.
And the mortgage is probably what, another $200 a month?
Same thing, yeah.
Oh
Like
man. So wouldn't it be amazing? So let's say I'm just giving round numbers. You don't have to tell exactly how much you're making, but let's just round numbers. You're making $300 per property. It's two properties, 600 extra dollars in your pocket every single month. Let's imagine if you had 10 properties. So $300 times 10 properties, that's $3,000 a month. And
exactly.
I mean, isn't it just like, man, how do I get more of these?
I know. I know. It's crazy. I love it. It's crazy. I'm ready for more.
I know. So what? Now that we already have two, my wife was like, okay, you already have two or three properties. Let's settle down. Let's wait until these kind of settle out. But when's your next purchase, or what are you looking for your next property?
So my next property, I need to come up with more of a down payment. So I'm gonna wait a little bit to build that up using the profit I made from the other properties to come up with the down for that.
That's perfect. And what I would suggest is continue, and I know you're doing this, but continue, for everybody listening, I'm going to say this, continue looking for deals because you never know when a good deal, not just Roofstock, use Zillow, use Craigslist in the areas that you already are investing because you have a property manager, you already have the business built up, you already know about that area. So keep looking for properties because you never know. You might find a property that you might only need to put like $5,000 down, $3,000 down. You never know what kind of deal comes up. I'll give you an example. One of my students, I'm actually going to be interviewing him in the next, hopefully, relatively next few weeks. So his first property he's already bought. He's done that. He's making like $350 a month, which is fantastic. His second property, he actually found it's worth $95,000. It's an old man who's selling his parents' house. So he's like 70, but he's selling his parents' house. They're like 95, and so he's buying off of them for $50,000. He's getting a hard money loan. He is literally paying no money out of his pocket because it's a hard money loan. It's worth 95. He's taking out 75,000 or $75,000. And so he's
Wow.
pocketing like $15,000. So do not stop looking for deals. Constantly be looking for deals because you never know what's going to come up. Not all deals are going to be the same. So you want to constantly be looking for properties. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Actually, it also helps getting on the email list from the wholesalers because they send you deals all the time.
That's I love waking up in the morning, drinking my coffee, looking at deals because I didn't do any work. All the wholesalers did all the work. And that's something that a lot of people, when I show them how to find wholesalers, they're like, oh, wow, light bulb pops on. Wow, that's how you find wholesalers? Okay, let me go ahead and do that. So absolutely, I love wholesalers. I love realtors. In fact, I just love a good deal. When it is a good deal, I don't care if it's through a realtor, a wholesaler, an investor, a friend, whatever. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal. So let's jump on it. Now, talk to us a little bit about the coaching process. How did that help you get to that first step and then move on to where you have the second step of getting the next property?
So I just followed your videos, and then when I was bold enough to make my move, I signed up for your coaching, which was probably to me the most helpful because it felt like you were right there through the whole thing.
Awesome.
I was emailing you so much. I mean, even just deciding on a property, I was like, yeah, it's crazy. I
I
feel bad now for,
no
I
no
feel like I
no
bombarded you.
no. Don't feel bad. In fact, what I'm thinking, okay, so you have it with just one property. That's $300 a month. I mean, in 1 year, that is what is that? That's $3,600 in 1 year for one property. You just make so much more money. And so, working with me, my goal is to number one, save you money and make you money, and that's what we did. So, and getting those emails, that's almost like my love language. And I get an email like, "Oh, somebody loves me. Let me reply," and that's something I have to reply. It's in me. And so, I have had some coaching students say, "Well, how quickly are you going to be able to respond?" Which is a fantastic question. I completely agree. When we're working with property managers, if they're not responding within 24 hours, you fire them right away. In fact, I'm going to get on a coaching call later today with one of my students. He's having a little bit of issues with his first property manager. And so I'm working with him to see what we need to do to move on. But long story short, the turnaround time on communication, that's something that I just pride myself on, is because everything for me, as I'm looking at you personally going through, Katrina, going through the process, I see the time frame. I see it. Some things can take longer. Some things should take longer. I don't need to respond right away, but I know by putting myself in your shoes, you're nervous. You're like, "What's going on?" And so I'm like, I got to get answers right away. We got to jump on a call right away. In fact, one of my students, we're literally going to get a call. I got an email from him, like 2 or 3 emails back to back, like in maybe 3 minutes. And he was like, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" I was like, "Let's just jump on a call," because I want to make sure you're 100% set. So I really appreciate that.
Yes. So I just followed your instructions. I followed the video to the T. When you said open that savings builder account with Citibank, I did that. And when you said this is how you open the LLC in Wyoming, I did that too. I mean, I just followed your video step by step. I did everything, I wouldn't have had the nerve to do what I did if I didn't register for your video, your coaching, that sort of thing. So I just went all in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's how I designed the course. Is it's a step-by-step thing, because that's really what it comes down to. It's both an art and a science, but it's more of a science. If you just do X, Y, and Z, you're going to get
Right.
there. There are some things when it comes to like being an art, meaning finding the right deals, working with sellers. That's a little more of an art. But yeah, so I'm really glad that you said that. That makes me feel happy that the step-by-step process is working, and you're one of many students that have actually worked for. Now, Katrina, you've been fantastic. I really, really appreciate your time and being able to just share with everybody that we're just normal people. We're just normal people living our lives and realizing that there's a way to change our lives and make money, as opposed to working an hour, getting paid one time, getting paid over and over again. So do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No, you were fantastic too. And thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, Katrina. Okay, well, you take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care. Take care. Take care.